This is Denouncer Dwayne Cunningham. We are here in Kansas City, Missouri for the 2011 WFTDA South Central Region Playoff, the Show Me Derby Q, as it's called around here. And as Chip said, incidentally, Chip will be joining me in the booth momentarily. The Gold Coast Derby Girls and Green Country Roller Girls are entering the postseason for the first time in their league's history. We are glad to have them. Whoever wins this game goes on to face Kansas City tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Both teams are looking great. And I am joined now by Chip himself. Chip, thanks for that little introduction to this soiree that's about to begin. Green Country versus Gold Coast.
And we're going to let the rest finish up what they're working on here. What the heck?
You're the scoreboard operator and the timer?
That's right.
You operate the timer on the scoreboard?
Yeah, that's right. And anything can happen when you have teams that you're not familiar with. You're primed for an upset. There's not a lot to go on in postseason play. Of course, both had a pretty active 2011 season. The Green Country Roller Girls played a variety of opponents in their division. The Gold Coast Derby Girls also, they had a hard loss against Duke City, just barely missed it by 30 points. Correction, they won against Duke City, they lost. Got blown out a little bit against Houston in March, and then later in the season took on Tallahassee. That was a close one. And folks, it looks like we are about to get things underway. How about it?
Here we go, jam number one, and that is Perkylicious number C4C5 for Green Country. But Dwayne, it looks like your lead jammer is 00 Tsunami Sue for the Gold Coast. The Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Florida area, I'm sure, are listening to us as they're looking for their girls to make it to the next round. But first, the opponent of Green Country out of Tulsa. Tulsa in the black with green accents, and Gold Coast with the white and red and black accents as it's a emphatic call off of the first jam, Dwayne.
Yeah, and it looks like correction, Lucy Lunatic taken down in the backfield as she enters her first scoring run, and as a result feels that she needs to call the jam dead. She only picks up, she actually doesn't get a point at all. She was passed up by Perkylicious, who put a point on the board, and despite not getting the first lead jammer, it looks like Green Country draws first blood.
That's 9 kilometer for Green Country as your jammer.
And she is clawing her way through the pack.
Did it help?
No, it did not. Looks like the jammer for Gold Coast in white is going to be the first one there.
And that is Tsunami Sue. I misspoke on the first jam. She is, of course, the jammer here in the second jam and calls off the jam in turn number 3.
Ran into a 4-wall right in the front of the pack and found that she had to shut it down, and that makes it a wash for points. No points for either team, so still 1-0 after 2 jams in favor of Green Country. Winding up this time, Temptress Storm for Green Country.
And number 111, that is Jamstrella for Gold Coast. One player in the box for both teams. Pivot for Gold Coast and a blocker for Green Country. Jammers are off. Second whistle.
Little bump from Jamstrella on her rival, but it doesn't get the job done. Instead, we have Temptress Storm getting lead jammer for Green Country, and it looks like this one is not going to be a wash. She is hauling toward the back of the pack, enters it, passes up some defense, and a clean 5-point grand slam. Now we're seeing something happen. Green Country 6-0, and looks like she's going back for another scoring run.
Both jammers, of course, out of the pack. In control, like you said, is Green Country approaching the back of the pack. They've picked up the pace, and now a 3-wall up front by Gold Coast. Nice seal to the inside, but not able. She makes nice footwork to get through, calling it off after a 4-point jam.
So, lucrative jam for Temptress Storm, representing Green Country, dressed in black and green. Jamsterella unable to put any points on the board once again for Gold Coast in white. 10-0 after 3 jams.
We've got, it looks like Perkylicious for Green Country lining up on the outside, and on the inside, it's the Bala shot caller, number 143 for Gold Coast. 2 still in the box, both are standing. We should have full blockers for both teams upcoming.
Perkylicious bumped to the outside, has to recycle herself. Now she's lined up with the back again, looking for an open lane. She will not find it in time. Baller shot caller threatens the front of the pack. No, she is out on a cut track major. So a power jam for Green Country and Perkylicious.
Chance for them to extend the lead now. No points so far for Gold Coast. Major elbow being called. Can't see it's on the other side of the track, but major penalty for Green Country, it looks like.
That'll help Gold Coast somewhat, but Perkylicious out there. A 3-wall in front, just bombarding her on the outside walls. Makes it through anyway.
Finally gets lead jammer.
Yeah.
It seemed like she had made it through a few times, but that not the case. Hard work as the pack is to a crawl, approaching through the back stretch. She's making her way inside, outside, cuts through, weaving. 5 points, Grand Slam, Perkylicious.
Good work by Perkylicious. Green Country loses the defender, number 707, Straight Legit. They still got 3 defenders on the board to help Perkylicious through. Flattened in the backfield by Spontaneous Combustia, the defender for Gold Coast.
And it looks like she is being sent off the track, I believe, for direction of play, as we've got another Grand Slam by Perkylicious, bringing it up to 20-0 here. 24 minutes, 50 seconds left here in the first period.
Perkylicious now scored half the points the Green Country has on the board, all 20 of them unanswered, and Perkylicious enters the pack once again, and she's going to get one more Grand Slam before shutting it down. It's going to make it 25-0 Green Country, 24:30 left in the first half. How about it, Chip? It's an 8-9 seed, so you would expect them to be relatively well matched. Of course, we're only a few jams in.
Right, early strategy. If they really wanted to put the nail in the coffin as they're 25-0 now, they could have called off the jam a little earlier, starting off with a power jam situation. Instead, the clock ran out. Both jammers made it back. The other jammer made it back to the track, and so they're going to start with both jammers on the line. But it was a chance that they could have dragged it out a little bit more. But again, these teams, first time here at South Central Regionals, they're very happy to be here. And like anything else, we're going to see them evolve over the weekend, and we'll see what they take into the next round.
And honestly, damage done nonetheless. 25 points by Green Country, establishing a point early in the game. We have a timeout, a team timeout by Gold Coast, so we'll take this opportunity to remind you that Dr. Hauschka is the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Want to lose a bruise? Do it with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. If you need video processing solutions, the world's most powerful video processing solutions are those from Elemental Technologies. Looks like the action is back underway.
That is number 88, Lucy Lunatic for Gold Coast, and that is, of course, my apologies. That is 9 kilometer for the Green Country Roller Girls, but your lead jam goes to Gold Coast.
Lucy Lunatic blasted out the front like she wants to put her team on the board. We'll see if she's able to do it. 9 kilometer now coming out the front of the pack for Green Country, so at the very least, Lucy Lunatic will not get a Grand Slam out of it.
Gold Coast has a blocker go to the box as soon as one of their blockers is standing up. A Spontaneous Combustion about to come out of the box and rejoin the pack, as we've got a full wall of Green Country up front, forcing off the call of the jam there as she fell down for Gold Coast.
So, finally on the board, Lucy Lunatic, because that was worth 1 point. So 25-1, Green Country over Gold Coast. And next up, we will see Temptress Storm representing Green Country on the jammer line. They're wearing black and green.
And that looks like that is Tsunami Sue in the white and black and red accents for Gold Coast on the line.
Pack off to a slow start. The jammers enter, and on the inside, Tsunami Sue picks up lead jammer for Gold Coast. So they are looking to turn this momentum around. Got lead jammer both times since they took their team timeout. The crowd is just electric for Friday morning in Municipal Auditorium. To Tsunami Sue, enters the pack, picks up a couple of points, shuts it down, but not in time. Temptress Storm answers both points. 27-3, Green Country over Gold Coast, 22-12 in the first half.
22 minutes to go here, period number 1, bout number 2, day number 1, in what should be a phenomenal South Central Regionals. It always is. You know, there's some people talk up and down about the South Central Regionals, but top to bottom, a lot of competitive leagues here in this region.
A lot of competitive leagues, and there's a lot of good rivalries, but then on the other hand, we're seeing a couple of rookie leagues right now. And this time, it looks like Green Country is threatening the front of the pack.
That's Perkylicious.
And it is Perkylicious who picks up lead jammer out the front of the house. The jammer for Gold Coast still caught up in the pack, takes a spill on the outside. One of the defenders from Green Country trips over her. That is
Tackle Me Elmo.
Tackle Me Elmo.
Tackle Me Elmo is the jammer for Gold Coast. Finally gets through the front of the pack and is eligible, but in control. Green Country, a big hit from Baller Shot Caller there.
Looks like Tackle Me Elmo is now out the front of the pack, and on her first scoring run, Perkylicious kind of hung up. So, and I don't think Perkylicious knows she's there. So if she's not careful, she's going to get all her points answered. Yeah, Perkylicious comes out the front of the pack. Tackle Me Elmo's already in it. 4 points for Perkylicious. She did not call it. Tackle Me Elmo muscling her way through. So, but actually, it looks like she's hung up on her first scoring run.
Electraviolet to the box for Green Country for a major cut. And definitely we see these new teams and their strategy is going to be interesting and to see how they evolve. The jam continuing on. They might have wanted to control it, go ahead and stop it to force the points not coming from Gold Coast, but they want to skate it all out. 5 more points for Green Country.
And not calling the jam after the first scoring run turned out to be great for Perkylicious, as Tackle Me Elmo was actually caught up in the pack for her entire second scoring run, a 5-point grand slam.
Right, however, she got 4 to match the 5. Again, a little bit of education or growth and strategy with these teams, when to call it off, when to keep it on, when to keep going with the points, and when to say, hey, hit it, quit it, let's go to the next jam.
That's right. Finally, it ends on time, and it looks like she was able to enter the pack one more time, so that makes it 36-7, Green Country over Gold Coast. Just under 20 minutes left in the first half. Adam Wheels, the official wheel of the WFTDA, is proud to be on the floor tonight in more ways than one.
Oh, absolutely. And what a beautiful floor it is. They put it together here at this beautiful historic Municipal Auditorium as we go into jam number 8. Looks like 9 kilometer for Green Country, and that is Jamsterella for Gold Coast, and she is your lead jammer. They're going to need as many lead jams as they can get because the point difference here, 36-7. They need to take advantage and play smart here, Dwayne, to catch up.
Well, it's a step in the right direction because 9 kilometers still hung up in the pack, and more than that on the way to the penalty box. So it is a power jam for Jamsterella and Gold Coast. This is exactly what they needed. Making her way through, found an open lane on the outside, but now a 3-wall, shutting her down, and what a takeout that was.
A good sign of a very good team forcing the play and the call-off by defense. They will start off jamming unopposed, which will be an advantage. But again, a little bit of evolution and strategy and what to do at those particular times. Interesting to see these new teams and how they match up.
One little bit of good news on that last play. Jam Storella, that was her first scoring run. She was able to put 3 points on the board. That makes it 36-10. And now, with a power jam situation, the jammer for Gold Coast is
Tsunami Sue. They start in a out of play as all her blockers are lined up in front of her with knee down. Pack moving all at the same time as one of the blockers gets knocked out. There's no pack. Blocker to the box for Green Country and lead jam.
Tsunami Sue. Tsunami Sue en route to the backfield. Couple of blockers. A blocker and a jammer, that is, in the box for Green Country. The world is her oyster at this second. A 3-wall in the front. She's going to try to get around. They're all lining up the inside, wide open on the outside, but they're moving a little too fast for her, and she's still hung up.
No pack. They're going to have to let her go. They can't help it. It was really good defense for a minute there, but not before a grand slam with persistence scored, as now both jammers, 9 Skillometer out of the box.
And Tsunami Sue, it's a great 5-point grand slam, but took a little too long to power jam over. Now looking for the front of the pack. A no pack called. They got to let her go again.
Another grand slam. Here comes that lead, 20-36, cutting into the deficit early on, and still 40 seconds left. Now this is where you don't want to call off the jam, but she does want to get those points before the Green Country's jammer hits the back of the pack, Dwayne.
Yeah, she's going to have to really keep an eye on her, and she's taken down, and she shuts it down. But looks like she did get 3 more points on the board unanswered once again, so suddenly a little momentum shift.
Right, as we all know, we get those ghost points or the points in the box as soon as they pass the hips of the final of the last blocker. So she got 3 there as we lined it up again with 16 minutes and change to go. Jam number 10.
Thanks to those efforts of Gold Coast and Tsunami Sue, a 25-point deficit has been reduced to a 13-point deficit. Great news for Gold Coast, getting back in this game, shifting the momentum a little bit.
Bala shot Kala getting through. Your lead jam quickly emerges from the pack. Meanwhile, getting beat up, number 56, Temperature Storm for Green Country. A shift of momentum, certainly in the last 3 jams here, Dwayne.
I should certainly say so. Gold Coast has come alive, and Bauer Shot Caller completes her first scoring run.
And she called her 4-point and calls off the jam.
And she just did it in time because Temptress Storm for Green Country in black and green, threatening the back of the house, and she almost entered there. And I believe that is going to get them within 5 points. And a timeout now.
Math
called.
is hard, Dwayne. It's 9, but that's okay.
Excuse me.
15 minutes go.
A little announcer math.
As we've got a little bit of a timeout here. Lots of people doing great things here at the South Central Regional. Dwayne, tell us about a couple of the fabulous sponsors, and of course here.
Well, of course, I'm happy to tell you about Riedel Skates, the proud partner and official skate of the WFTDA. Everybody uses them.
Absolutely.
You know anybody who doesn't? I don't think I do.
Everybody's got at least a set somewhere in their closet if they're not right it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. Merch Mama. You know about Merch Mama?
Merch Mama.
Supplying swag to the Derby Nation. Merch Mama. Another one of our valued sponsors.
Good people, good sponsors. It continues to grow. We are seeing a wonderful bout here early on. 9 points difference between these 2 teams. New teams once again. Number 8 and 9 seed respectively. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting here looking at the HD feed. If you have not upgraded to the HD feed on WFTDA.com, you really need to, because it's way better than that pixelated mess you have on your laptop without getting the HD feed. Meanwhile, track action, number 111, Jam Storella for Gold Coast. That is the 4th lead jam in a row for Gold Coast.
Yeah, to say that they have shifted the momentum is an understatement. It was a huge party at the beginning for Green Country, and suddenly Gold Coast has turned this around and made it look more like a bout between 2 seeds that are right next to each other on the list, and Jam Storella makes her way through and picks up a 5-point grand slam. And no news from Perkylicious.
Yeah, we do need to mention that is Perkylicious as the jammer. She was relied on heavily early on, a lot of grand slams, but they have kind of figured her out, stuck in the back. Beautiful defense back there. Looks like almost a dance move they're doing. 5 more points, grand slam, as we are, ladies and gentlemen, we have a point change. People in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area are screaming.
I guarantee it. A lot of them are probably at work right now. Thanks to all you who are tuning in from work. Yeah, how about that? A 25-0 game, and now suddenly we have a lead change. Gold Coast 1 point ahead of Green Country, and we have got ourselves a contest suddenly.
Lunatic Lucy for Gold Coast, lining up about middle of the stripe. And that looks like that is number 40 for Green Country, 9 kilometer, that is.
9 kilometer. And 9 kilometer threatening the front of the house. There's one defender in her way, and that's all it takes. Lucy Lunatic comes out of nowhere. Lead jammer Gold Coast, and Lucy Lunatic still just getting destroyed by that one defender. Let's see if we can tell you who that is. She just has Lucy's number out there.
That was a beautiful seal just a minute ago by Carnivorous Licks to allow that lead jam status to happen. Meanwhile, she's stuck behind that wall, but gonna get through. She does, on her feet, but gets the point. And it looks like we've got an elbow major on Green Country blocker.
Iggy Cox was the defender for Gold Coast, who was holding Kilometer at bay for so long. And Lucy Lunatic is going to take advantage of it. Enters the back of the pack, comes out the front, take it down in the front of the house.
And it looks like we've got a major penalty as that jam is called off. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad you're here on a Friday. Hope you've had your excuses to the bosses as to why you need to be paying attention to this action here at Derby Q in Kansas City, Missouri. 46-36 now. Gold Coast taking charge.
25-0 just a little bit ago, and suddenly they're up by 10 points. Gold Coast over Green Country. Just absolutely coming alive out there.
And again, it looks like Tsunami Sue for Gold Coast.
The Psychopath. For Green Country, wearing black and green, and she is the first one through. Lead jammer, Psychopath, Green Country strikes back.
Stop the bleeding, 5 jams, lead jammer now, jam 13. Lead jam goes back, a nice hop move, a pass. Tsunami Sue for a 5-point grand slam, sneaking back in the back door, getting back in the game here, 41-46.
Psychopath with the grand slam. Tsunami Sue stuck in the pack. Plays a little defense on Psychopath.
Nothing like the jammer lead taking a little bit of time out of her day to knock the crud out of the other jammer to pull away from the pack. But lead jam still in control as 4 points scored by Green Country.
Remember, Psychopath has completed 2 scoring runs for 9 points now, and Tsunami Sue yet to enter in scoring position. Psychopath, of course, going to call it dead before she gets there. So a 9-0 jam in favor of Green Country. So how about that? It continues to be a nail-biter of a game, and it's still the first half. 10:45 left till halftime.
10:45, and again, we can't thank enough Dr. Hauschka, who is celebrating fresh faces of the WFTDA. They've got an ad playing. Great stuff by Dr. Hauschka. Check them out, either online or at the booth if you're close to us. Back into jam number 14. That looks like Bala Shakala for Gold Coast.
Herculicious for Green Country, and Bala Shakala comes out in the front of the back first, and she is lead jammer.
I'll tell you what, man, though, there couldn't have been a hair between those two jammers as Perky takes the inside. Bala Shakala, who now calls off the jam, takes the outside. They decide they're not going to play this jam. She's going to call it off as good strategy, but at least, Dwayne, they're rolling forward.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And there was, if Gold Coast was ahead, she probably would have given another half a lap to stall a little more time off the clock before calling it dead, but it's such a close game, a 1-point game, that they go ahead and shut it down. Both teams want to stay productive out there.
Again, these two teams have never made it to the dance, not to mention Gold Coast, 1 point ahead right now. They are 6 months as the WFTDA League. 6 months, and they have done enough to get here to be able to play very well up against Green Country, who's 2 or 3 years seasoned now.
Right.
You know, right in the middle
Correct.
of the Northwest Arkansas and the Kansases and Denvers and the Texas. They've had a chance to work with all those, but
And they've been on the rotation with everybody else. Clearly Gold Coast doing something right. Jam Storella is who's jamming for them this time. Facing off against 9 Kilometer for Green Country in black.
9 Kilometer trying to play a little defensive slow at first, but getting lead Jam.
Jam Storella on the outside. Just a wide open lane with 9 Kilometer held at bay. And 9 Kilometer still held at bay. Finally finds an open door on the inside. But Jam Storella en route. She's going to get there first, put some points on the board.
Trying to squeeze on the inside and finally making it through, emerging from the pack. Scoring 4 points of her own for Gold Coast. All right, Dwayne, 5 points more, or 4 points more, 50-45, 9 minutes to go here in period number 1.
What more could you ask for, Derby Planet? A 5-point game. 9 minutes left at halftime. Keeping things moving right along. Number 56, Temptress Storm for Green Country, dressed in black and green. In white,
That is
number 96, Tackle Me Elmo. We've seen good things out of both of these jammers. We're only missing one defender. That is on the Green Country side. Tackle Me Elmo is going to try to take advantage of it, but on the inside,
Nice.
Temptress. Sorry, Chip. Go
No,
ahead.
that's fine. Nice 2-wall put up by Gold Coast with a third following, trying to get through, but they are doing damage and holding back. The pivot joins to hold her back.
Jeez. It's like pinball. That 3-wall just bouncing Temptress Storm all over the place.
Not to mention Green Country doing their own damage on the jammer, but now finally getting through for lead jammer. Tackle Me Elmo after, I believe, 3 rotations, getting control of this jam. Meanwhile, Tsunami Sue is just stuck, getting beat up like a rag doll.
One of the fundamental differences to roller derby is how the defense plays offense and defense technically at the same time, but not on that pass for both jammers. It was all defense on both sides. No offense. Jam Storella enters the jam, puts a few points on the board.
Calling it off?
Yeah, she's being told by her bench to call it, but actually Temptress Storm was nowhere close, and she was held to only 2 points. I think she could have stayed behind enemy lines a second longer, but
Absolutely could have. Period 1, 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Jam number 17 is about where we're going to start. Perkylicious lining up again, one of the mainstay jammers for Green Country. Looks like that is 800cc Spontaneous Combustion, the captain for Gold Coast.
she is clawing her way through.
No players in the penalty box. Perkylicious gets knocked to the inside. Spontaneous Combustion also gets knocked to the inside, has to re-engage in the middle of the pack. There you go, Dwayne.
Perkylicious. Lead jammer, Green Country.
Major black block penalty on. Oh, Spontaneous Combustion is going to be a power jam, not what is needed for Gold Coast. They do have a 7-point lead, but that's going to be a minute without any points being scored. As Perkylicious makes a nice move laterally the inside, 5 points.
That was a little bit of drift racing as she came in, slid sideways through the back of the pack, cut back to the inside, created an open lane, and taken down. I don't know if that's going to be a back block or a low block.
That was no, that was right torso to torso.
There you go.
So they're going to keep her on 5 points, even though relative position was altered.
Thought somebody was going to jail on that one, but as it turns out, Perkylicious just gets a 5-point grand slam.
She had that get out of jail free card in her back pocket. We didn't see her pass it.
I guess so. Perkylicious enters the pack once again for her second scoring run after the first one was a 5-point Salami, and she is looking for the front. But there's a 3-wall in her way. Ground out. Has to recycle herself.
Yeah, Gold Coast was really commanding the front, and then they tried to trap the goat for the last blocker, but couldn't help it. Now 4 points being scored on 1 foot.
And it was a no point, no penalty on one of the blockers, so she does not get 2 grand slams, but she does score 4 points. The jammer back out of the box for Gold Coast, but it's her first run, and the jam comes to an end on time. So 9 unanswered points for Green Country, and suddenly they're back up on top by 7.
Hot Rod Havoc goes to the box just as that jam ended, so Green Country will be down 1 pivot as they have number 49 Kilometer lining up against Lucy Lunatic.
Both of these jammers have certainly earned a paycheck in this game for their respective teams. A figurative paycheck, a scoreboard paycheck.
There you go. That's what counts. 59-52. Green Country back up front, but now we've got lead jam by Miss Lunatic for Gold Coast, number 88.
And 9 Kilometer taken down in the backfield. So good news for Gold Coast, as Lucy Lunatic already able to engage the pack for her first scoring run on the inside, trying to sneak her way in. Ground out. Yeah.
Nice 2-wall defense, Dwayne, up front by Gold Coast, being held up. One of the blockers coming in to try to help her player out. Only 1 left to go. She's going to get through, but still in control. Gold Coast. Lucy Lunatic looks like she's kind of biding her time at this point. She calls it off. And I believe somebody picked up a minor cut right at the end. Calling to shots, I'm not sure who it was. I didn't see who he pointed to, but he was calling a track cut, minor, I believe.
One of the Gold Coast defenders, wasn't it? Oh, no.
188. No, it looks like it was a major. No, I'm sorry, not 188. 88. Lucy Lunatic. That is going to end. That was okay. So she was the jammer.
Right.
She was in control. They called off the jam. The penalty didn't get made until after, because sometimes it takes a second or two, as we've got an official timeout.
But she had already called it, so now they have to call an official timeout to figure out what's going to happen.
So the question is, it's not her fault that they didn't call it. So do they get to start with that jammer on the line, or does she have to come off and they get to start with, very little time without the jammer?
Right. Or do they just give her an illegal procedure for calling off the jam after scoring the penalty?
But if they give her an illegal procedure, they have to. They have to first say that she's no longer a jammer because of the penalty. Oh, folks, are you staying with us at home?
We will get an official word on how this all shakes down.
Speaking of official words, where is our fabulous announcer official?
Well, it looks like he's down there in the middle of the floor, getting an ear in on all of this, which he'll pass along to us, and we'll pass along to you, Planet Derby, who we are thrilled to have you joining us here on WFTDA.com. This wonderful streaming postseason depiction of the 2011 WFTDA postseason.
Here we go.
Okay, so it looks like she's just going to be in the box, and a power jam for Green Country.
All right, so they'll be jamming unopposed. Green Country started with a no-pack situation to release the the jammer immediately. And she has already been declared lead jam, but got recirculated back in the pack as Bala shot callers doing damage up front.
Man, they are doing a great job holding her back with just a 2-wall. Now they're out of play. Gotta let her go. So Psychopath, lead jammer for Green Country on a power jam. Tight pack. We got all 4 defenders for Gold Coast, but what they don't have is a jammer. After a post-jam cut track major called on the jammer for Gold Coast, now Green Country gets one of their blockers back. It's a 3-3 defense, 3-4 in favor of Gold Coast. Psychopath still looking for a way through. Looks like she's going to find one. No! Taken down to the front of the house, and she calls the jam dead. as Gold Coast gets their jammer back.
That was Spontaneous Combustion, who turned around to front block her, if you will, which is legal. And along with Bala Shot Caller, they were holding serve at the front of that pack.
Not bad for a 2-wall, huh?
Yeah, not at all. Now as we go into jam number 20 with about a minute, 20 seconds to go, definitely one jam, potentially two jams. Of course, we always end on the jam clock, not the period clock. One blocker standing in the box for Green Country. Full complement for Gold Coast. Looks like we have Perkylicious, and that is number 111, Jamsterella for Gold Coast. And that is your lead jam. Oh, that is not your lead jam. She gets called off for a major penalty.
Uh-oh. This game,
Misconduct
man.
penalty. Not sure exactly what. I did not see what she did. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but she got sent out for a misconduct. The coach is trying to tell her it's for a cut, but the jam is, there's whistles being blown all over the place.
The jam is over, and there's still some defense happening.
I saw a low block. I saw an illegal procedure called. I
think we're about to see an official timeout to sort this out. We'll see, but there was definitely some gameplay going on after the gameplay stopped.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say that we certainly do know our derby pretty well. We've been doing this for a while, but trying to keep up with everything that happened there in the last minute or so. We'll try to fill you in as one of the skaters gets waved off, didn't make it to the line, so they're going to be short one just because of that. That is Green Country.
And, of course, you don't come back from that. That's not a trip to the box. It's just a trip back to the bench for the jam.
Right, Perkylicious unopposed, 2-wall. Once again, Spontaneous Combustion doing some damage up front.
Running on fumes here as the period clock is over. We're on the jam clock only. Perkylicious having a hard time making it through this pack. On the outside, finds an open lane, but a 3-wall awaits her. And Gold Coast just trucking with this pack.
Oh, and there is a major cut. And she was already coming out of the box before, so she didn't have to wait till she sat down. So coming through and lead jammer for Gold Coast. Holy cow, Jamsterella.
And with less than a minute on the jam clock, there is no reason for her to call off the jam.
Spontaneous Combustion to the penalty box. Nice. That was a huge low block, tripping like she was trying to punt a football almost.
And a swing and a miss by the defender from Green Country.
Yeah, that's number 11. That is Rodeo Diablo being a little devilish there as we've got a 5-point grand slam for Gold
She's going
Coast.
to change this lead going into halftime. How do you like this? Jamsterella with a 5-point grand slam and another 5-point grand slam. Gold Coast going to be in front.
So here we go, 20 seconds on the jam clock. This is where they don't want to call it off. She's got the opportunity to hit another 5 points as soon as you get past one. Slow move by the defender. Green Country's a little slow on the action. There is your other grand slam. She still has 5 seconds. Forget it. 15 points. Take it to the locker room.
So, folks, at halftime, it looks like Gold Coast is going to have the lead in this nail-biter of a game. This is truly anybody's game. Don't go anywhere, because in just 10 minutes, we are going to have the second half of this shindig. Good afternoon, Planet Derby. We are in the midst of a nail-biter, knockdown, drag-out of a game between the two rookie teams in the WFTDA postseason altogether. First time in the postseason. The Gold Coast Derby Girls and the Green Country Roller Girls. 71-64, more lead changes than I've ever seen.
It's certainly a lot of lead changes, and again, we can't give it up enough for these two leagues. Their first time here coming to the semi-big dance. The big dance still happening in November in Denver, but both of these teams really making way here in this region as they have replaced 3 of the teams we normally saw in the region, but not here this year. So Green Country, Gold Coast, and of course Omaha, the rookies.
Yeah. If this is the way that these teams play, I'm happy to have them. I'd love to see more derby like this. This is great. It's been Nothing but fast, furious play by both teams. It's been, head-to-head the entire time. Not too dirty. There's been some trips to the box on the defense and on the offense.
Absolutely, and you can see that they are definitely the level of their leagues and their play. Definitely, they're in the right place, but you can see how they're learning even as the game goes. We saw Gold Coast get 30-something to 0, whatever the score was, and then turned it around. Now they're up 71-64 as we were about to start period number 2.
Yeah, what do you want? They're playing hard on both sides. It's a great tournament so far, the 2011 South Central Region Playoffs.
I believe it was 4 lead changes in the first period.
The Show Me Derby Q. Of course, we're happy to have Derby Supply with the best customer service in the business, period, here with us.
Tsunami Sue is your jammer here for Gold Coast. And it looks like it's number 49 kilometer for Green Country. Here in period number 2, jam number 1. Spontaneous Combustion back on the track, as well as number 11 for Green Country, Rodeo Diablo. So full complement for both teams. And we've got a lead jam, Dwayne, Green Country.
9 kilometer. Blasts out the front of the pack. She is on her way to see the pack once again, this time in scoring position, while Gold Coast jammer, yes, is still hung up in the pack, facing a 3-wall in the front. And 9 kilometer just now coming in for a landing, but there's a 4-wall in the back of the pack, and it's going to be tough to get through.
Rodeo Diablo sent right back to the box. I believe that is 3 trips. It's at least 2. This is where we start having to think about the number of trips to the box, but I haven't seen anything excessive from anyone as of yet, but that could change here as we've got ball a shot. Kala knocking the crud out of number 21 bouncer for Green Country.
And 9 kilometer in the box. We have a power jam for Gold Coast.
And yes, that is a major back block right into the back. So it is going to be a power jam situation for Green Country as
it's going to be a power jam switcheroony, actually.
Yes.
And it's not going to last very long because 9 kilometer hasn't been there for more than 10 seconds. The kilometer comes back out. Now, Green Country has the only jammer on the floor. Gold Coast is going to get theirs right back.
And we'll go the full 2 minutes, which happens to be 7 seconds left.
Yeah, we're not going to see too much more scoring, although here's Kilometer plunging into the pack, and a no pack. So she will get a 5-point grand slam with seconds left.
Wow.
Man, just as it ends on time, in fact. Wow. Way to sneak in that grand slam by 9 kilometer for Green Country.
As Tempter Storm, her jammer mate, gives her a high five as she goes to the line here for jam number 2. And of course, they are starting unopposed because still awaiting some time in the box. Less than 10 seconds. Tsunami Sue, considering that she is standing.
Boy, that is unlucky, isn't it? Tsunami Sue only had a sentence to serve in the box of couldn't have been more than 10 or 20 seconds, but they happen to be at the end of the jam, and that is going to give Temptress Storm the opportunity to immediately pick up lead jammer for Green Country.
Both
Green Country dressed in black, Gold Coast in white. Chip?
Yes, both jammers out of the pack, both with the initials TS, Tsunami Sue and Temptress Storm. As we've got number 21, Bounce Her. I'm sorry, was that Bouncer? Yes, Bounce Her going to the box. No, I'm sorry, that's Blackjack, for Gold Coast going to the box. Is the end of that jam. We are going into jam number 3, period number 2, Dwayne. 26 minutes and change to go, 73-71. I have a feeling we're going to go down to the wire with the way that these two teams are trading off lead changes.
And Temptress Storm picking up another 4 points at the end of that last jam gives Green Country the lead, 73-71, 2 points. So far, the second half has belonged to Green Country, but it is such a tight game. Perkylicious jamming this time for Green Country.
We've got an official timeout, and whenever we have an official timeout, we always want to take some time to talk about some of the amazing sponsors and vendors and things that we have here. Dwayne, who do you think is somebody we should focus on now?
Well, I'd like to talk about Five Stride Skate Shop. You know them?
They're a great choice. Awesome people.
I agree. And you know who else agrees?
Who?
Some skaters by the names of Bonnie Thunders,
Might have heard of her.
Deranged, Psychobabble prefers the 5-stride skate shop, Susie Hot Rod, Teflon Donna. All the biggest names in the WFTDA prefer the 5-stride skate shop. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you.
Well, if it's good enough for the girls on the West and the East Coast, it should be absolutely great for the ladies here in South Central.
For the sandwich.
Exactly. Here we go, 5 seconds as we've got one of the announcers from Houston. Very loud, we can hear it through our headphones. Lining it up, Perkylicious on the inside for Green Country, and number 111, Jamsterella for Gold Coast.
Perkylicious immediately just slices and dices this pack. She is lead jammer for Green Country.
Nice.
Jamsterella finds her own way out of the pack also, but in scoring position, Perkylicious already there.
Already there. Gold Coast trying to form at the front of the pack with Spontaneous Combustion, trying to hold back as the back of the pack is controlled by Green Country, needing to recirculate to help their jammer out. She's having to work a little too hard to get past those foremost blockers.
Swing and a miss by the defense on the Gold Coast side.
4 points, Perkylicious. Followed by 4 points for Jamsterella. Fast-paced pack here, Dwayne, as they're starting to form back up here in turns 3 and 4 going into the front stretch.
A little bit more room between the jammers this time, and Perkylicious has her eyes set in front and behind. She knows exactly where Jamsterella is. And as Jamsterella approaches the box, she shuts it down. And I think they held her at bay possibly for 0 points. No, it looks like she did get 1. 1 point for Perkylicious, and that is a feather in the cap of Gold Coast because she was half a track in front of Jamsterella.
But still only 3 points difference between, and Gold Coast is going to send to the line for the first time today, I believe, Sookie Skankhouse. She's been on the track but not on the jam line, up against number 49 kilometer for Green Country.
And this is the first time we've seen Kitty not submit down on the track.
9 kilometer looking at the front of the house. Sookie gets there first. Lead jammer. Sookie Skankhouse. En route to the backfield is Sookie Skankhouse.
Held up front by the wall that is
9 kilometer,
Yeah.
and now she finds her way out. So both jammers in scoring position, but Sookie gets there first. There is a pretty scattered defense on the Green Country side. She is going to chew that up. No, they congeal right in front of her.
but they got to let her go. No pack, as then we've got a major ball of shot caller for, I believe, it looked like for destroying the pack, but I wasn't sure there, being called off right at the end of that jam. 79-78, another lead change. I hope you folks at home are watching. No slouches are the ladies from Green Country and Gold Coast, Wayne.
It's a nice game. It's really, really nice.
Temptress Storm again lining on the inside for Green Country in the black and green. And that looks like that is number 00, of course, Tsunami Sue for Gold Coast. Again, the battle of the TS initials. Up front, nice work by the pivot for Green Country, helping her jammer through for lead jam. Green Country looking to overtake the lead again as Dwayne Weir just under 23 minutes to go.
Tsunami Sue now comes out the front of the pack, but Temptress Storm is going to get there first in scoring position. And man, just taken down by the defender from Gold Coast.
Big takedown and then turn around. Green Country takes down, and that looks like that is Electra Violet. She is going right to the penalty box. She knows better than that.
Incidentally, Spontaneous Combustion was the defender from Gold Coast with that monster takedown of Temptress Storm. Temptress now back on her feet, completes her first scoring run. 3 points. She missed one of them thanks to a no pass, no penalty. No point, no penalty, rather.
Iggy Cox for Gold Coast going to the penalty box, but still in control is Green Country here, 81-79. A couple of points out front, but around the outside, trying to still pass. The defensive jammer stays on.
Did not work.
No, gets that thumb is extended 5 points.
Yeah, she should have just taken off, and she wanted to keep a point from happening.
Little lackadaisical on defense at that point. She should have just sped up to not allow that point to be taken, but nonetheless, 86-83, still only 3 points between these two.
Every point counts in this game. And to try to get some more of them, the Gold Coast squad sends out Jamsterella.
And that's Perkylicious. We can see a shortened rotation for both teams with the exception of maybe one
Sookie
jammer here.
Skakehouse being added on the Gold Coast side.
Full complement of 2 blockers each in the box for each team.
Micro pack,
as Mr. Rocker Boy would have coined years ago. Micro pack in the box. Lead jam for Gold Coast. Jamsterella.
Yeah, when you only have 2 blockers to put up with, it's not hard for a jammer like Jamsterella to make her way through, and she does it for a second time. Completes her first scoring run. That's probably a clean 4-point pass. No, one of the blockers on the Green Country side holds her at bay for a second. She pushes her way through, but Perkylicious catches up with her, and both jammers get 4 points.
Matching each other's efforts. So do you continue on with a minute left in this jam? Try to get a couple of points? No, she's going to go ahead and call it off. Doesn't feel confident enough, I guess, or just wants to start over.
She's already put forward a lot of effort for 0 gain.
Yeah.
Not going to do it again. Incidentally, Perkylicious looking a little nonplussed at the fact that the jam got called off.
That's correct. Oh, ladies and gentlemen out there, Derby Nation, we are so glad that you're joining us, not only in the South Central region for the teams you're cheering for, and of course North and East and West, but worldwide, Dwayne. There are people listening probably 1 o'clock in the morning somewhere.
Yeah, probably, and we're happy to have them all. 9 kilometer once again on the line for Green Country. And she looking for the front of the house.
Spontaneous combustion, always up in the front doing damage, holding back.
The jammer on the Gold Coast side, Tackle Me Elmo, looking for an open lane on the outside. And actually, it looks like she almost had it. But that lone defender on the Green Country side able to grind her up against the wall. Now she has it. Now she has it. Tackle Me Elmo out the front of the pack. And both jammers just knocking on the front door.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 kilometer doing everything that she can, but the defense for Gold Coast stepping it up here in this jam number 8 as approaching the back of the pack is Tackle Me Elmo. She's going to score points. Finally emerging from the pack for Green Country is 9 kilometer, but damage being done. Let's see if they can match those 3 points to tie it up or maybe take the lead.
Tackle Me Elmo entered the back of the pack and the defense got distracted, looking to assist her and open up a lane, and so 9 kilometer took advantage. Tackle Me Elmo only able to get 3 points on it, so
guess what?
Man.
It's 90-90. 18 minutes to go. Day number 1, only bout number 2. We wish you guys could be here in this historic venue here. Kansas City really has. This is a beautiful venue, Dwayne, and the Derby is standing up to that beauty.
What a great welcome to the WFTDA postseason for both of these teams making their first appearance. An incredible game. A lot of defense being played. The last 2 jams, only 3 points to none scored in both jams.
Sookie Skakehouse and Temptress Storm are your jammers. I'm sorry, Tsunami Sue, not Temptress Storm, are your jammers. And now a little defensive. Susie Skakehouse, even though she is lead jammer, slows down to pay defense. Now they take off. but goes ahead and calls it off, Dwayne.
Man, and again, so in the last 3 jams, we have seen minimal scoring despite a lot of efforts being put forward by the jammers. Scoreboard handed them a paycheck. They said, we worked harder than this.
Exactly. So the strategy is really starting to kick in, whereas early on we could see that, they could have called off jams, not called off jams, depending on the situation. We'll see how that evolves here as we are neck and neck, 90-90, and still 16 minutes and change to go. Wow.
Happy to be joined by those experienced Derby skaters, getting you the right gear to take you to the next level at Derby for All. Action back underway. We have Jamsterella jamming for Gold Coast.
And that is Perkylicious again for Green Country. But your lead jammer, number 111, Jamsterella. Meanwhile, 2 blockers standing respectively for both teams in the box.
Perkylicious now breaks away, so both jammers in scoring position, but Jamsterella going to get there first. Knocking on the back door even as we speak. Perkylicious nowhere close. Plunges into the pack, calls the jam, and
we'll see if she got a point. She was trying to get that 1 point over 4 whistles is what it looked like she was trying to do, but not sure if they awarded that point because it's still 90-90.
Perkylicious was a mile away. I don't know if that was necessary.
It's one of the very interesting things about the 4 rapid whistles is that when you look at it from this vantage point, it's did they count that point? Did they not count that point? Did they start on that first whistle even though it's supposed to go through the 4th whistles? Tough job for referees, but we can't question it. We can only honor what they do. 90-90 as we are back into the next jam.
At the moment, we've got Lucy Lunatic out there.
Both jammers jockeying for position, but it is Gold Coast. Lucy Lunatic who gets there first.
Stuck in the pack is 9 kilometer for Green Country. She is not lead jammer, no pass, no penalty. So that is still an opportunity for Green Country. But it's being stuck back in the pack. You're not going to score a lot of points, but she's got it. Oh, she did have a lead jammer. She just recognized it looked like that.
Yeah, she just now realized that she had lead jammer, and the damage already done by Lucy Lunatic. 4 points put on the board. Wow, she really snuck in. Man, she got away with that. 94-90, Gold Coast over Green Country. 14 and a half minutes left in the contest. This is brought to you by, in part, Derbalife. Customized nutrition programs and coaching. Put more life in your game with Derbalife. Action about to be back underway on the track. Number 56, Temptress Storm, standing on the line once again.
And that is Jamsterella, number 111 for Gold Coast. 94-90 in favor of Gold Coast. 14 minutes to go here. Jam number 11. As we've got the pack to a crawl between turns 3 and 4, picking back up as the jammers are stuck. Knocked outside is Temptress Storm, has to re-engage from the back. Both jammers have to do that, Dwayne.
Yes, sir. So once again, 6 jams in a row, we're seeing mighty, mighty defense. But this time, Temptress Storm comes out the front of the pack first. Lead jammer Green Country right behind her. Jamsterella, both jammers en route to the backfield. We got a full defense on both sides for them to contend with.
So the question is, do we go, get our points, call it off, or are we going to go ahead and go through? Here she comes, back of the pack, goes in. That's going to be a back block minor.
Playing
Jam
with
is
fire.
called off, but 2 points scored
by Gold Coast.
By Gold Coast. Not necessarily as effective as she was hoping for.
Not what she was looking for. She was able to answer one of them, so it's only a net gain of 1 by Gold Coast.
Right, but also picked up that minor back block as you charge the back of the skaters. So that's going to be, again, having to look at those as they are heavily jammer rotation.
Worth the point.
Yeah, but heavily jammer rotation. Now they're going to have to start doing some cougar poodling, getting their intentional minor, however you want to state it.
Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on penalties, I'm afraid. Fast Girl Skates, the industry pioneer in boot sizing and configuration for women's feet, with us this weekend and all through the postseason. Fast Girl Skates, one of our favorites. Of course, we'd also like to thank Spinlin Media and Union Vacations.
And again, we hope that everybody around the world is enjoying this beautiful footage here on WFTDA.com. We've got a ton of bouts to go. Upcoming, what should be a very heated bout of teams that know each other very well, Houston and Atlanta. Atlanta kind
it's
of
gonna be a great
staying
one.
in the middle ground here the last couple of years, trying to get up more, whereas Houston. Oh, we have a announcing referee. Erroneous fourth minor. So she's going to the box. Here we go. Going jam number
Bob Noxious on the
13.
house feed thought God was speaking.
Might have been. We've got Lucy Lunatic up against 9 Kilometer. Little jammer defense in the back by Green Country. 9 Kilometer trying to get through. She's not had a whole lot of success the last couple of rotations at jammer. Meanwhile, Lucy Lunatic getting bumped around the outside. 3 on 1. Her blocker not helping her out very much yet.
Nice jumping carnivorous licks to come up and spring that block.
Trying to get through the front. The one wall of beautiful action up front. And finally, you've got a lead jam, but hot on her heels, forcing the call.
Good.
Dwayne.
How long ago was it that it was 85 points for either team?
Exactly.
Like 20 minutes ago. There has been so little point scoring in the end of this game.
Here's how you go. It was 64-71 after 20 jams the first period. We are 13 jams into the second period, and defensively, it's now 91-96. So
grief.
you
What
do
a-
the math. That's a lot of defense and not as many points here the second period as we are lining up for the next bout. We've got Bala Shatkala for Gold Coast. And she is your lead jammer. She's been doing damage all over the pack, both with the jammer star and in the middle of the pack. Is number 56 is your jammer for Green Country. That is Temptress Storm.
Temptress Storm, I said on the backfield, plunges into it, but taken down is the jammer for Gold Coast. She calls the jam from the position of on the floor. But she was able to put 3 points on the board. Baller shot caller and Temptress Storm nowhere close. So 99-91, 10:42 left in the contest. And now Perkylicious takes the line once again.
So the question is going to be, who is going to get to that century mark first? Can Green Country get lead jam and hold back Gold Coast, or will Gold Coast surpass and continue? But 10 minutes and 20 seconds is a ton of time.
The way this defense has been playing, it could be 8 minutes from now before somebody passes the century line. Looks like Perkylicious comes out of the front of the pack first. Lead jammer, Green Country.
I'm looking for the signal as to what the penalty was. She got sent out again. It is a power jam situation for Green Country. So the defense I was talking about might turn out to be true.
How do you like this? You want to know who is going to cross the century mark first? Well, there's a grand slam for Green Country, and they're only 4 points away. And she is about to plunge into this pack. Here she comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go, Green Country. It was 99-91 at the beginning of this jam. And now Green Country crosses over the mark first.
Is the lead change. Now the pack picks up pace a little bit to make the jammers work a little bit harder, which is smart strategy by Gold Coast, trying to stop the minimal amount of bleeding as we're at 101.99.
Finally, they decide to quit dancing with her and they just take off. They got the entire defense controlling the front of the pack. Perkylicious plunges into it, tries to find an open lane on the outside, and this time they work in tandem. Send her packing. She has to recycle herself, and now Gold Coast gets their jammer back. Perkylicious is not fooled. She sees it, immediately shuts it down.
But they will not be jamming unopposed. It will not be a power jam to start. However, small amount of damage, 5-point lead, 104-99 here. Back and forth, Green Country, Gold Coast. If I was a betting man, I don't know if I could even put a bet on this today.
I don't think you could. I don't think it would be a smart way either way. She did get a third scoring run, 3 points on that, making it 13-point run to make it 104-99. 8.5 minutes left in the game. Green Country of Tulsa, Oklahoma, wearing black and green, got Gold Coast from Fort Lauderdale. And they have lead jammer Lucy Lunatic comes blasting out the front of the pack. They want revenge for what happened in the last pack. 13 points scored by Green Country on the last play, and that's a lot for this game.
Meanwhile, 9 kilometers still stuck in the back of the pack as she goes through, passes, jumps the apex. It looks like she took a huge elephant step over the apex. Got the 5th point. Nice work by Gold Coast as the pack is to a crawl as she gets hit and jumps again to try to clear the apex, but has to go and recircle from the back. Finally,
absolutely flattened by Toxic Tequila, the defender from Green Country. What a hit that was. She was still able to put 5 more points on the board for Gold Coast, though.
Hey, guess what? Lead change.
How about
104 to 109. 7:20 to go. Gold Coast back up front. We can almost start looking at the jammer rotation to see who's going to get each jam. But now Green Country lining up with a brand new jammer. Had not seen straight legit jam as of yet. So she's going to be on the jam line. And that, of course, is going to be up against Balashot Kala. So we've got a official timeout.
You are watching the right game, ladies and gentlemen, right here on WFTDA.com. How about this? Just more lead changes than we can count. It is a nail biter, tit for tat. We would like to thank Roller Girl Skates. Have you been smacked by rollergirlskates.com yet? Well, stop by their booth to play if you're here on the floor. And if you are, then I applaud your 3G connection. Otherwise, swing by rollergirlskates.com online.
Well, they made a jammer switch. Green Country did. They're putting back on the line Perkylicious, who's been the mainstay of their jammer rotation. Lining up on the inside is the Balashot Kala for Gold Coast. Balashot Kala, again, been doing damage. They're going to start out of play as Gold Coast is on a knee. Balashot Kala trips over the back of one of the Green Country players. I'm not sure if there was a penalty call for that, but she gets through it as lead jam, but hot on her heels. Dwayne is Perkylicious.
Yeah, and she's not going to take the chance. Balashot Kala shuts down the jam. Perkylicious right behind her. No points for either team.
Sticking to their rotation when they only had one circle around the track. They're going to switch out jammers. We've got Jam Storella for Gold Coast, and of course that's 56 Temptress Storm.
Both of these jammers have been so effective in this very exciting game, brought to you in part by Vanilla Skates.
As we've got another official timeout. Now, Dwayne, we of course are in the 3rd chapter, if you will, in this amazing novel that is being written here for the 2011 championships, as we have already seen winners in the East, of course, of Gotham.
Right.
Gotham, Philly,
and Charm.
Yep. And then, of course, in the West, we had Ole overtake the rematch of RMRG. That's a toss-up. And then, of course, joined
by Rose City, making their first trip to the big show.
They've hosted 2 events, but for first one to make it through. So now we're heading into the South Central, where traditionally there's been 2 powers at the top.
Right.
They're still very powerful teams. However,
anything can happen. I think there's a little bit more parity in the midfield of this seeding chart, to be honest.
And when you've seen the, especially the middle part of the pack, this third place game, whoever comes out of that is going to be really have to work very, very hard. Houston has a little bit of a line. Atlanta's experienced, but when you throw in the up-and-coming experience from either No Coast or any of the other teams here, definitely could be anybody's ball game. And a few bad jams, a good grand slam, and that could be the beginning or the end of your season.
Which would have been her 7th, causing her to be fouled out, was overruled.
So we had a player that was going to be fouled out, would have been her 7th trip to the box, but was not.
5 seconds.
That was that erroneous call earlier, Dwayne.
So she's got one more chance. You talked about a get-out-of-jail-free card earlier, where there's almost literally one. But one more major, and it'll happen for
We'll
real.
see our first one of the day here, as we have got Tsunami Sue and Jam Sorella, jam number 18, and your lead jammer is Tsunami Sue.
Or Temptress Storm.
Temptress Storm.
Temptress
Gosh,
Storm.
I keep messing
the
up
TSs.
The TSs. My bad. Temptress Storm, Tsunami Sue. They're both kind of weather related. My bad. Giving props to Green Country properly for their hard effort out there. 104 to 109.
Both jammers in scoring position. Plunge into the pack. Temptress Storm in the front. Jam Sorella in the back. Jam Sorella, not really a wall on either side. And Jam Sorella chews right through this pack. A 5-point Grand Slam. And Temptress Storm sent to the box, so Jam Sorella with a huge break for Gold Coast.
And there's no lead jam
This is going to
called,
be tough.
so it will be the full 2 minutes with about 45 seconds to go left here and 5 minutes in the period. 114 to 104. Gold Coast pulling away slightly and in control of this.
Green Country dropping the hammer on this pack speed, trying to keep Jam Sorella from catching up. Jam Sorella having a hard time getting in there, taken down, bumped in the front of the pack by the defender from Green Country, has to recycle herself. They're trying to eat up this penalty while Temptress Storm sits in jail.
19 seconds to go here in this, and again 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go as we've got another Grand Slam and she cannot call it off.
She is not lead jammer, so she gets an illegal procedure minor for it.
Minor, because if the ref would have called it, it would have been a major, et cetera, but she is back through again and around one more time. Another Grand Slam by Green Country, back and forth.
And it looks like
107 to 119. 119 to 107. Wow, and a little bit of what we see on the weekend, a little bit of evolution here, Dwayne. As I'm looking at Gold Coast, and I am looking at their coach. Their coach is barely human, and being new to this derby, I saw him out in the hallway during halftime having a little conversation with one of the KC girls, giving a little advice on a move and kind of some things happening. I'm sure he's taking that education back to the bench, and they may very well pull an upset here and get through to the next round. 4 minutes to go. That is anywhere from 2 to up to maybe 5 or 6 jams, short jams. We're going to see how they're going to play it out. Stick with us out there, Derby Nation. Bala shot caller on the inside. Perkylicious lining up on the outside. One player in the box, Electra Violet for Green Country, and one sitting in the box for Gold Coast.
The pack takes off, as Chip said, 3-on-3 in the defense. And Baller shot caller comes out the front of the pack. Lead jammer Gold Coast. They are looking to put the stake in the heart of Green Country.
She called it with a shimmy, the equivalent of a crossover move in Derby. Lead jam in control. 3 minutes, 33 seconds in the period. 125 in the jam. In the middle of the pack, ball shot caller goes down, calls it off smartly and quickly.
No, she cannot call it off. She is sent to the box on a low block major.
Just as she goes down, calls it off, but low block major, so no lead jam. 4 points. No! Now given the 5th point.
She gets a 5-point Grand Slam. Perkylicious does. And we're going to turn this thing around after all. They thought there was no hope for Green Country, but Perkylicious gets a 5-point Grand Slam.
53 seconds to go in the jam. 117 to 124. Green Country on the narrow side of the scoreboard as the front of the pack is held by Gold Coast. The 4 blockers in the back by Green Country. A wall of white and Florida love trying to hold back Green Country.
Perkylicious trying to grind her way through. She's already picked up a Grand Slam. If she can get another one, it's going to be a 1-point game.
No pack. They're going to have to let her go. That is 5-point Grand Slam. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. The jammer, Bala shot caller, is standing. She'll be out of the box momentarily. Just
Punky
as-
Licious plunges into the pack on the inside, back to the outside. Picks up.
Fourth minor. She is sent off the track for her fourth minor.
And
Illegal
tries to call it.
procedure. Tries to call it. The whistles are blown.
Oh,
We're
my
going to get an
God.
official timeout, I'm sure,
I
here.
guarantee.
122 to 124, 1 minute, 52 seconds and counting. There has been no timeout mentioned. We're just guessing, folks, but 6 points between these two teams. What a phenomenal, as we do have a timeout called on Gold Coast. What a phenomenal jam.
So far, they're calling it a team timeout for Gold Coast. Everybody wants to get to the bottom of this. I believe she got a cut track minor on her last trip through. Is her fourth minor. Then she tried to call off the jam and got a minor for illegal procedure. The jam came to an end on time, but Baller Shot Collar came out of the box and put 4 points on the board. Now, Perky Licious had plunged into the pack before committing that fourth cut track minor. So it seems like she should have some points on the board for that.
And here's something interesting. No timeouts for Green Country. 1 timeout flashing for Gold Coast. We'll see what we attribute. Will there be any timeouts? Because at a minute 44, potentially 2 jams. 1 for sure, potentially 2, depending on how you use your timeout and the 30 seconds in between.
Don't forget, Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Alchaid. You saw their commercial with the fresh faces of Derby.
Yes, absolutely.
These are a bunch of fresh faces of Derby.
Of fresh faces, and what a way to start out. Not that the first bout wasn't a very good bout, but this bout is a nail biter. Number 2, day number 1 here, Kansas City, Missouri at Municipal Auditorium. The crowd is starting to fill in, Dwayne. People are awake and making it to the venue, and they're walking into a 6-point difference between 2 teams who've never even been to this dance.
Oh, man, they will never forget each other after this weekend, though, I guarantee that. As we predicted, it did turn into an official timeout. We'll probably hear the head ref talk momentarily. Of course, we'd like to thank our friends at 5on5 Magazine. You can visit them online at 5on5mag.com. Derby Skins, the finest apparel. You know, they'll make you anything you want. Derby Skins.
Yeah, they absolutely will. Hence, look at Dump Truck.
Yeah, exactly. Dump Truck's entire wardrobe, I think, is made by Derby Skins. Dump Truck, incidentally, will be on the next game.
That is correct.
Atlanta versus Houston coming up here in the booth. I'll be sticking around with you, so Dump Truck.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Jules Doyle is here. Have you seen his new book, No Mercy?
We were drooling over his book last night as we all sat around going through. It is basically a history yearbook, if you will. For those of us that have been in Derby for a long time, or those of you who haven't been in, you can literally start on page 1 and go through, and it's like almost a yearbook. A lot of old faces and some new ones, and beautiful imagery. So, but back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. It's 144.
As we thought, Perky Licious's last plunge into the pack did have some points before she scored that cut track minor, and as a result, the illegal procedure, those points have been awarded, and now it is a 1-point game, 128 to 127.
So let's paint the picture. Like you said, 1-point game. There is 1 timeout flashing for Gold Coast. So if that timeout still remains, they have advantage, but only if they get lead jam, of which they are jamming unopposed, as Perky Licious is waiting in the box. So there's definitely advantage for Gold Coast. But does Green Country have the defense to be able to hold us? We start out of no pack, as Lucy Lunatic is your jammer.
Lucy Lunatic is, in fact, your lead jammer. Man, untouched on the outside. They have a 1-point lead, and she's going to try to retain it. You have no doubt that she is looking at the clock, or at least her bench is.
Ball shot caller getting called out for destroying the pack, or not reforming. Stuck in the back of the pack.
Now that could come back and bite them.
Yeah, a wall of Green Country up front trying to hold back. She's already scored
and
a point
look at the
or
defender
2.
Coaching the referee.
Oh, nice work. She's trying not to come back in. And then we got...
Now they have to let her go.
Now they have to let her go. And she gets through. That is a 5-point grand slam. That puts them up by 6 points. Under 1 minute to go, but 1 minute and change on the jam clock.
This game has been so unpredictable. You do not know what's going to happen. Perkylicious standing up at the box now, rejoins the action. So both jammers back on the floor. Perkylicious makes her initial run through the pack. I don't believe the blockers see her yet. Now they do. Take a swipe. It's such a loose pack, she immediately makes her way through. So Perkylicious now in scoring position, but that's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote.
Because there is no timeouts for Green Country. The clock is going to wind down. We're at 127 to 137.
Wow, what a game.
Amazing second bout here. South Central Regional newcomers, no slouches to this region by any stretch.
Man.
But they do win a prize. If Gold Coast goes on to win it, and it looks like they will, they get to play Kansas.
Yeah.
That would be Kansas City.
And Gold Coast leaps off the bench ecstatically. They fought so hard to win this game. Seated under Green Country by 1. Green Country stunned. They cannot believe after such a hard-fought game with so many lead changes, so much defense, so much offense. And in the end, Gold Coast comes out on top by 10 points, 137 to 127, as Gold Coast, newcomers to the South Central tournament, makes their victory lap.
9 seed no longer. That will change over the weekend here. Growing up before our eyes, there's Spontaneous Combustion with a huge grin on her face, going around getting their high fives, of course, being very gracious about it. We can't say enough good things for Green Country. Also, their rookie turn here at South Central's.
Unbelievable game.
Hi, this is Electra Blue coming at you live from the 2011 WFTA South Central Regional Playoffs here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am here with Jamsterella of Gold Coast, and wow, what an amazing game that was. I think there was 9 lead changes at the end, and towards the end, I mean, we saw how jammer trouble can get you in trouble. Tell me how it was out there at those last moments.
It was definitely nerve-wracking. The girls, they kept holding the back wall, but somehow our defense blocked their jammers and we got through. But it was definitely a good time, actually. You know, it was hard to get through, but our jammers and blockers worked together and it was very well.
You did a great job out there, yes. Your pack was doing well for you. So important for the jammers to stay out of the box, and we saw that at the end there, and you guys came out ahead. So now you have to rest up a little bit to play Kansas City at 8 p.m. How are you feeling about that game?
Great. I mean, it's going to be a good game. They're going to probably give us a, killing, but you know what? That's what we're here for.
That's absolutely what you're here for. Well, congratulations on that game, and we look for you tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with Kansas City and Gold Coast Derby Girls. Thanks so much.